welcome back to my channel. Today I just thought I would do a very quick update on my orchids in bloom, and then in the next few days hopefully I will do some updates on the development on my orchids. And I know it has been a while, so there will be quite a lot to talk about. And I'm going to start with my Dendrobium Green Elf. It has been in bloom for ever since I bought him. I think it has been 1.5 years, something like that, and he just pushes up spike after spike. This is a very rewarding orchid. I don't think I will ever sell it out, and yeah. I'm just so happy with it. The blooms are very unique. You can see the petals have a very rich apple green color. They are quite waxy. They have quite a lot of spots, and then the lip is quite unique, as you can see, in shape, and it has all these lines and spots and color. It is almost black, and I really love it. And also the smell, it's delicious. It reminds me of honey. It's quite a sweet smell, and I love it. Next, for the first time we have in bloom with 4 blooms the come on, I didn't post a video in such a long time, and now I am forgetting the names of my orchids. So this is the Cattlecya Siam Jade. This is one of my favorite Cattleyas. This is again one that I don't think I will ever get rid of, because it is so fragrant. The fragrance is very floral and powdery. It reminds me of some scents that are used in perfumes, actually. So believe me when I say it is quite lovely, and if you ever see it in a shop, you should buy it because it's delicious. Now I do have a little deformity here. You can see that part of the whatever it's called, this thing tried to imitate a petal or sepal something. It's waxy and yep. But anyway, they are beautiful blooms, really fragrant during the daytime, and quite easy to care for. As you can see, this is the biggest suitable the orchid ever produced, and it's quite happy in its setup, I can say. It as always 3 leaves. It's taller, it's fatter, but this is not a big Cattleya, it's a medium-sized one. So if you ever think that you want a new orchid, maybe you should get for one of these ones. It's quite rewarding. It blooms for me 2 to 3 times a year, depending how many suitable it produces, and it's quite nice because the spike and the buds emerge directly from the leaves before the orchid is fully matured, so you don't have to wait for the orchid to produce a sheet and then a few months before the buds appear from the sheet. So I quite like it. Here I have a spike. By the way, it's snow outside and it's quite beautiful, as you can see. This is my Phalaenopsis, which I received as a gift from my boyfriend. And it is producing some branches. I cannot wait to see it in bloom. It is in semi-hydro growing, quite happily actually, because it has adjusted really well, and the roots are going everywhere. Next to it I have a Phalaenopsis Harlequin, which is growing in waterculture, and as you can see it is quite happy because last year on this time I think it only had 2 roots, so I am quite proud with the amount of roots that it has produced this year. It has many spikes and branches and only a few buds, and I think I know why is this. This is because at some point I forgot to fill up the vase. and it might be that it would like a bit more sunlight than in this corner, of course. So today is not a very sunny day, let's say, but I'm quite sure it would love a bit more sun. Currently, to be honest, I am trying to see which orchids I love the most and make some more room for them and sell the ones that I don't like that much anymore, because I want to provide the best care and light and conditions for the ones that I really like. Because you all know that you can buy an orchid now and you really like it, but in a few years you're a bit bored with it. But these ones will stay forever. Oh, and here it's another beauty. Look at this. This is the Phalaenopsis Manhattan, I think. Nope, this is the Phalaenopsis elegant Karin Aloha. This is another orchid which I have for a lot of years. Actually, this is not mine. It is my grandmother's, but when I moved, I did took it with me because my grandma said she doesn't want it anymore. And now that she has been visiting me, she saw it in bloom, she wants it back, of course. And I'm going to take it to her whenever I'm going to her place with my car, so I can give the best conditions for transporting. As you can see, I have this orchid for about 5 to 6 years, I think. You can see for the past year she has been in semi-hydro, and it has put up so many roots that I don't doubt she just loves it. And even though she is producing huge leaves, it's not really the biggest Phalaenopsis, let's say. I would say they are medium sized, but they are really thick, and it is growing all the time. Here I see she wants to produce a branch, so yeah, I think we are going to see it in bloom for quite a lot more time. So here I have a Vanda spike which I put in water because I thought the orchid was a bit stressed. I need to refill it. So I cut off the spike. I didn't thought the spike was really great, and I think the orchid is a bit stressed because it has been blooming 3 to 4 times a year for the past 2 years, and that is a bit too much. I think she just needs a rest, so I cut off the spike, and the orchid is currently trying to push up some more roots. And here I have a little surprise from one of my cattleys. By the way, here is where I feed some of the birds, because I live next to the forest. The birds this time of the year do seek up for food, and I do feed them with bread and seeds and stuff like that. They really love it, and I enjoy their company, and the cat as well. So yeah. So my Cattleya is currently growing up 2 buds without a sheath, which is quite nicely. This orchid usually blooms with a sheath, but this is her first year in my care. It just reached 1 year, and it pushed up roots because when I bought it, it didn't have any. It started with very small sized pseudobulbs, as you can see here, and then it pushed up bigger and bigger until it has produced this one, which is not fully sized, but I think it is recovering. It has quite a lot of roots now. It is all my orchids are growing in semi-hydro, and for the first time she wants to bloom. I really want to see it because when it arrived to me, the blooms already were spent, so I want to see if it is fragrant. I really hope they will develop. Sometimes if your orchid is trying to push up, if your Cattleya is trying to push up directly buds without the sheath, and when already the pseudobulb is mature, they might sometime abort, sometime they will bloom. It depends, so we shall see. What do I have interesting here? So here it is my Jairak Black Cattleya, and I am looking here because I really hope this is going to produce a sheet as well. Here I have my Cattleya Siam Jade Orange with 3 sheets, and I just showered it. Right now I am currently trying to empty out the reservoirs from the orchids and just rinse them a bit, shower them a bit, but not all at the same time, because I still have a lot of orchids that would be too tiring for me. So every single day I take about, let's say, 10 orchids, I clean them out and put them back. So this year we are going to have quite a display. This one usually blooms in spring, so that is what she usually does, produces the bulbs, the pseudobulbs, and after a few months, after the pseudobulb is mature and the sheet is almost getting dry, then it pushes up buds, and I am quite enthusiastic to see this year's display, or almost next year's. And yeah, I have a few spots from when she sit outdoors in the summertime. I think we had a hailstorm, but she is fine, so yeah. And here we have my Oncidium type orchid, which is in bloom. It is an Oncidium Lazio, and it is so fragrant. I really love it. This is the first time he blooms because he just got adjusted to my environment, and I'm quite happy he did, because when I have received it, of course, it didn't have any roots. It just had adjusted to self-watering and semi-hydro. Now he has roots, so next year we are going to have more spikes than one. I am certain of that. If you ever get your hands on one, you should put it in a higher light than your usual Oncidium, because this one is quite fragrant. And as you probably know already, this orchid, or actually all orchids, are more fragrant when they have high light and high humidity. And here we have my Cattleya Alma Tip Mali. This is a gorgeous orchid, and I think I am going... Oh, look, this is her true color. Really beautiful. Right now they are almost fading. I had another flower which already faded. It was the first one to open. This is not a very fragrant orchid, but it is quite showy, and I like it. It has bloomed from a green sheet, as you can see. It has put 2 blooms from this spike, and the other one which faded. It did got some burns this year, but next year I'm going to care for them better. Here I have a lovely African violet. I really love this one. I have received it as a gift from a friend, and it does quite amazing for me whenever I don't forget to water it. As you can see, the blooms are pristine white, and they have all sorts of speckles, so I quite enjoy it. Next year I'm going to repot it into a bigger pot. And here we have a lovely Phalaenopsis orchid, which is growing in water culture. Most of my Phalaenopsis orchids are growing in water culture, and I really love it. This one bloomed from the tip of the spike. As you can see, this tip is active as well. Here I have a little keiki which has produced roots as well. Soon enough it is going to get cut off and put in a pot. Most probably I am going to share it with a friend. And she also put up branches from here and a new spike. You can see I have new roots here as well, and last year it only had 1 root, so she is doing well, I would say. Here we have another phal in water culture, another phal in water culture. Quite a lot of them actually. That one in the back too. This one, oopsie. This one is my golden yellow, and that one is in semi-hydro still, but she is going to get moved in water culture as well. I find it is much easier to care for them in water culture, and to be quite honest, because I grow my orchids, all of them, in semi-hydro in self-watering pots, which do get moisture all the time, the transition is quite easy. As you can see here, I have a Phalaenopsis from my mother, from my boyfriend's mother, sorry, and she was growing in semi-hydro, but I have moved it in water culture, and the pebbles which were stuck to the roots just stayed there, and eventually they will fall, and then I am going to pick them up, and the orchid is going to be free with just the roots in water. Here we have another bunch of Phalaenopsis orchids which are spiking. Of course, this is their season. I'm just not going to show to you every single one which is in spike, but believe me, they are spiking. But more beautifully, here we have my Phalaenopsis Sweet Memory, and it is so fragrant. There you go, this is a new spike with new buds. But as I said, I would really love to have less orchids, so I have more space and better care for the ones which I love the most, because although lately I have sold, I'm going to close up the flashlight because my phone is having difficulties to properly focus. So as I said, I did sold up quite a few, but you can see that my shelves are still quite full of orchids. I'm not really sure how I am going to manage this, but I want more light for these ones. And I recently acquired this lovely forgot its ID, and I think it's on the back. It's the Tolumnia Firm Dalmatian. It's quite lovely. When I have received it, it didn't have all that many roots, but now it's getting adjusted. It grew some new roots, and I'm watering her in the winter time once every 2 to 3 days by soaking. And here I have a Cattlecya or a Brassavola David Sander, which is always getting watered with the other one, because they are mounted. I don't usually grow my orchids on mounts, but these two ones do make quite a nice pair. They live next to each other, they are healthy, they all have growing root tips, as you can see here, and another one here. So yeah, I think we are safe to say that we can water these two together. Up above I have the Dendrobium anosmum, which is resting. He is not getting any water. As you can see, he doesn't have any leaves, and hopefully in the springtime we are going to get some buds. And the last orchid which we are going to talk about for today, it is this gorgeous Oncidium type orchid. This is an intergeneric, and the blooms are quite spectacular. This is called Wilsonara Eye Candy Pinky, and we can completely understand why his producer has picked up this specific name. It is just gorgeous, and the blooms are quite dainty. You can see the background color. It is white. All the petals and sepals have red spots. Also the lip, and around the bloom we have a gorgeous pinkish tinge, pinkish line, let's say. It is gorgeous, and the most important thing about this orchid, it is now not how the blooms look like, but how they smell like. They smell amazing for an Oncidium type orchid. I quite adore it, and if you keep it in bright light, you are going to enjoy quite a lot its smell. Now, of course, as any Oncidium type, these blooms are not going to have a long life, but I would say about 1 month, 1 month and a half is the maximum you can get. As you can see, they are quite beautiful and I adore them. The orchid has adjusted in my environment very well. I have purchased it last winter and I can see it loves growing here. It has produced good roots, and nope, this one doesn't have roots at the bottom, but most of my orchids do have a lot of fruits in the bottom of the pot, going directly in the reservoir. That is how much they love it. So alright guys, this has been the video for today. I really hope one of the next days I'm going to return with a new video for you, because I really missed doing videos. Thank you so much for watching and see you all next time. Bye bye!